to the Connecting Point. I am Dr. Marcy, your facilitator for this discussion today. And this is the place where we connect, creators connect, to inspire, share their ideas and stories, to change the world through raw and unedited talk. And today, I have the pleasure of having a discussion with my brother. Dr. Darryl is what they call him, but he's also a minister of the gospel. Dr. Darryl Jones. He is here on the Connecting Point. I'm excited and elated at the same time. Dr. Darryl, welcome to the Connecting Point.
Thank you so much for welcoming me to the Connecting Point. I've been looking forward to this opportunity, and I'm excited to be able to sit here and share a lot of things that what the Lord has done for us and what we're expecting the Lord to do and what we know the Lord would do.
Yes, yes. And Dr. Darryl, I've got to say the Connecting Point here, thus the name of this platform. Well, everyone, you heard me say this is my brother. Well, he's, my brother in Christ, but he's also my brother, my Morris Brown brother. We went to Morris Brown College. And y'all know MBC blood runs very deep. He is also my Phi Mu Alpha brother. So he's a music brother of mine. Yeah. And so we're connected in those areas. So this should be a joyous conversation between two like-minded souls.
I look forward to it.
Now, Dr. Darryl, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and where you are now?
Okay. My name is Darryl. I'm born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. And as I like to say, I am a Grady baby. And, you know, it's just something about how when we meet people from Atlanta, we always want to know where you really from in Atlanta, because Atlanta has gotten so big now. And we look at the metropolitan Atlanta, but I was born in the city of Atlanta at Grady Hospital. And, you know, I just really enjoy when I reflect over my childhood. My mom had me at an early age. I have a sister as well. And we grew up in Atlanta and we enjoyed Atlanta so much so, well, especially me, that I never moved away from Atlanta. I visited other places, but I wasn't going anywhere because I felt like Atlanta is such a place that everybody wants to come. Why would I want to leave? So I didn't leave. And if I would have left, it would have took a boatload of money, because that's about the only thing that could have got out of it. We have two things: a boatload of money and God saying go. And since God didn't say go, and no one ever seen me out on a lake with a boat full of money, so I'm here in Atlanta.
Well, listen, I'm here with you, because I left the little town of Athens, Georgia, went to Morris Brown and never went back.
Atlanta do that for a lot of people. There are people who come to Atlanta, especially those who had the privilege to come to Morris Brown College. And even the ones who left Atlanta still trying their earnest to get back here because of what this great city has done for people and the connecting that we all have come to love in Atlanta. I just love Atlanta. I love the city here. I love the people here. And I love what God is doing for all of us who grew up here. I grew up in an extended family. And what I mean by that, I grew up, since my mom had us at an early age, there was my grandmother, my aunts and uncles, and you just never knew who would be at your house or whose house you would be at. So I grew up, and I was the first of my generation, because I was my grandmother's first son, grandchild. So some would say I'm spoiled. I wouldn't say I'm spoiled. I say I just got the benefits early and first. So not spoiled, but I grew up in the Atlanta public school system. Had a unique opportunity. I share with people that I went to 5 different elementary schools. And the reason for that is we moved a lot. And I found out as I got older, no one really told me, but I just kind of put together the reason we moved a lot, because when you're young and you don't really have a whole lot of money, they have what's called rent specials. And whenever they have a rent special, 6 months free, no rent and all that stuff, you know, I'm sure a lot of us moved to those different type places. So I enjoyed that. But what it did, it made making friends kind of hard early for me, because every time I made a good friend, it was time to move. So it was kind of hard doing that. So I ended up growing up. My sister, she was able to make friends very easy. With me, I didn't make friends easy, but when I made friends, I made lifetime friends. We
Ah,
stayed friends. So I have a lot of people that I know in Atlanta. A lot of people want to know. A lot of people ask me, "Did you go to this school? Did you go to this school?" I said, "Probably." I don't, that's what I'm telling. But when I got,
probably.
but when I got to high school, that's when everything stabilized off. I stayed at the same high school the whole time, Carver High School. Left
You went to
Carver.
Carver.
Yes, I went to Carver High
My
School here.
son did too.
I love Carver. I say, as a matter of fact, I love Carver so much that if I was able, I would go to the football game Friday, but I have an obligation Friday, so I'm not gonna be able to go and watch them play in the state playoff rounds. But
Mm.
Carver has been very good to me. I love Carver, the teachers that I had there, my classmates, and Carver, they thought enough of me to induct me into the Hall of Fame in
Ah,
2017. So that was a
that's
honor.
awesome.
When I tell you about that, I still get excited
That is
just thinking about
awesome.
the
I
fact
didn't
that
know that.
they put me into the Hall of Fame. And it was just such a great experience. But I loved growing up, going to Carver. I had a lot of friends who grew up with me in Carver homes, and it was just such a great honor. And coming out of Carver, I went to Morris Brown. I love to tell the story. I was getting ready for graduation, and I got a phone call early in the morning, getting ready for graduation rehearsal, and it was Mr. Cleopas Johnson calling my
Yes.
mom. He called me to let me know that he knew that I had been in the band, and he told me about some of the honors he had know I had won as a musician. And he said, "I want you to come over to Morris Brown and march with our band and be in our band." He said, "We're getting brand new band uniforms, and I want you to come in and get fitted for one. You're gonna have your own custom made uniform to fit you and everything." So I was so excited. And at the time, I wasn't sure exactly what school I was going to. Morris Brown was definitely at the top of my list, along with a couple other schools. But Morris Brown got sold to me by Mr. Cleopas Johnson.
And
When he
you
called,
know, Dr. Darryl, let me tell you something.
yeah,
Right now, his wife,
yeah.
Granny, that's my granny. It better not nobody ever mess with her. I love it. Yes, Miss Ernestine Johnson.
She's a
That's
sweet
my
lady.
granny. That's my granny.
She's a sweet
So
lady.
yes,
Love dealing to all of us, whoever.
yes,
Marcy, Morris Brown band, just a sweet lady. And
sweet.
he was just, that family, even meeting his
Yeah,
daughter and his sons. And, he just had a great family. And it was just something about going to Morris Brown that just really opened me up to an idea that I can be something. I can be
that's
more than
right.
what I've always known. And some of the people I met at Morris Brown through the band, through Phi Mu Alpha, through the business program, which I went through and graduated from. And it just made me feel like that I could do whatever I put my mind
That's
to. They
right.
gave me such a confidence over there. And I just felt like no matter what I wanted to do, I could do it. And that stayed with me going through ITC, going to Liberty, getting my doctorate, working in the industries that I had the privilege of working in. And I'm just so grateful that God chose that journey for me to come and become an adult. And above that, I grew up in a Christian family. My family, my grandmother is a prayer warrior. I had some aunts that prayed, and they prayed for me and prayed with me. And I just thank God. I had an uncle who was like a brother to me and just so inspiring to me for who I am today. So I'm just thankful to be here. I praise God for each and every day of my life. And as long as there's breath in my body, I will praise the name of the Lord.
Yes, I just listening to you talk about your experience in high school and Morris Brown. I'm just feeling good because I know it meant that to me at Morris Brown. That's one thing that we got there, which still carries on today. We know who we are.
We know
Now,
who
when
we
you
are.
went to Morris Brown, you didn't walk out of there without knowing who you are,
Yeah.
and what you're capable of doing. And so that is a lasting impression that was put on all of us,
Yeah.
at Morris Brown. Yeah.
And when I tell you what I love about Morris Brown, we are family at Morris Brown.
Yes.
We're all sisters and brothers. And when I tell you, my wife is sisters to all my friends, my kids, nieces and nephews, to all of my friends, because we are one big
One
happy
family.
family at
That's
Morris
right.
Brown.
We are
And
family.
once I don't care if you went to Morris Brown one day or
That's
you
right.
see a degree, you're a Brownite. And when we see each other out in the street, Brownite, we love one another, we care
Yes.
for one another, and we respond to one another.
It's funny you said that because I just spoke to somebody the other day. I said, just because you didn't graduate, you still one of us.
You're Brownite.
That's how we are.
Yeah. And I love
One
that.
of
You
us.
know, I love that. And it's amazing too how the ones who didn't graduate are just as dedicated as the ones who
Yes,
did.
they are. Yes,
You
they are.
wouldn't know if you didn't know they didn't graduate, you wouldn't know they didn't graduate
That's
from Morris
right.
Brown. And that's what I love so deeply about it. We are one big family.
Yes. And since we're talking about family and knowing who we are, I know everyone sees that wording in the back that says "be better on purpose."
Yes,
And
yes.
I'm sure Morris Brown had a lot to do with you being better on purpose.
I feel like I was a lump of clay when I got there. And they molded me, they shaped me, and they made me a better man. They made me a better human. They made me a better better believer in Christ. It was just so much, and a lot of it I didn't know was happening until after I left. Because I didn't realize I was over there having fun, having a good time, and doing the things that you do during the ages of 17 to 21 or whatever age you leave there. And when I tell you, when I got out of Morris Brown, I look back, I said, it must have been something in the water because we became some people to leave Morris Brown. This whole Be Better on Purpose that I do today is all because of me trying to be a better person coming up in life. And I had no idea that me trying to be a better person would end up being something that would become a platform for me and something that through Morris Brown instilling in me and those who love me and care about me instilling in me that you could do anything. I had no idea that I could write to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office that I want to patent Be Better on Purpose. And they sent me all this information. I read through their website and I followed all this stuff. And I said, wow, I have this Be Better on Purpose patent and trademark through the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And when I found out that when I actually did it, that was people said, you know how much a lawyer would charge you to do that for you? They said thousands upon thousands of dollars. I said, oh, I might need to add that to my LLC and start doing that for people. But it was just such a hard work. I don't know if I would want to do it again, but I felt like if God put on my heart to do it for someone, I would do it. But it was just really a hard work, but I'm so grateful that it's done.
Well, you're talking about trademarking. I remember the day that God gave me the name of the connecting point. Mm-hmm. He told me to trademark it because it was his. I will never forget it. I jumped out of that bed, I wrote it down, and I put in the application. And like Dr. Darryl said, this is a process, Lord have mercy. Yes, I can't tell you, matter of fact, just got off the phone with somebody yesterday about it. But I remember calling an attorney to do it. And the attorney said to me on the phone, this is how I know it was God. He said, listen, you can do this yourself. I don't want to charge you what I'm going to charge you. Yeah. He said, I would have to charge you a lot. He said, I'm going to walk you through what you need to do. Do you see how God sent somebody? He said, this is an attorney. He doesn't know what I look like or anything. Mm-hmm. All he knew is he was conversating with me on the phone about it. And when I got the first letter back, the rejection letter, the letter they send back and say, you need to do something else. Yeah. That's when I called a tenant and said, what else do I need to do? He said, listen, you can do this yourself. You're a smart woman, you can do it. Send another one. That one came back. And I said, Lord, what is it? But this final one is going through. Yeah. And this is all divine right here, this conversation, because you're talking about that. I just clicked the submit button for the final one yesterday.
Praise God.
And see, God, that's another thing. God wants us to protect what's his now.
Yeah, exactly.
He will tell us how to move. Mm-hmm. He will tell us how to move. And when he tells you, you have to move on it. Yes, I know you think all people don't mean well. Yeah. And so God says, protect what's mine.
And you have to trust the God in people, not necessarily trust people, because
Yeah.
everybody has God in them, whether they accept it and acknowledge it or not.
Or not, right.
Yeah. And God will use people to get his will throughout this life. And a lot of times we're afraid of people because people will normally disappoint you, but not everybody's going to disappoint you. And
That's
even
right.
when they do disappoint you, it's for your good.
It's for your good.
For your good. And you said something the other day that I will never forget. You said it's okay to be used, just don't be abused. And I
Just
said,
don't be
boy,
abused.
I said, this gonna be a sermon. I said, I'm getting that got my mind and heart turning. I said, I'm gonna use that and I'm gonna make sure that I cite. That's one thing too that you learn when you start going to school. You have to cite your sources. And I have to make sure that when I do that, I'm citing my source where they come from. That's not an original thought that came to me. That was something that was inspired from you that inspired me to use that. And I said, wow, it's okay to be used, don't be abused.
And
Because
it was an original thought of mine. Let me tell you, I was listening to a sermon. I can't even, matter of fact, it wasn't a sermon. It was a live, and I can't even remember. It was someone from Africa, I think. I just can't remember the person's name. And he said that. And I said, all these years, I've been on jobs where I felt that I had to protect something because I felt that I was being used. You know, I was being used. And then I had a friend that tell me maybe a year or so ago, Marcy, they can't use you unless God allows them.
Yeah.
She said, they can't hurt you. And I said, oh my God, I would hold back some things because I said, all they're gonna do is try to steal it and run with it. You know, I had that thinking because I'd been betrayed so many times with the information that I had and would share it, and somebody take it and say it was theirs. And like you know, when you're working on a doctorate, we had to cite everything. Yeah. You couldn't even say the chicken is green without putting down where you got that from. Yeah. So I was accustomed to giving people credit for whatever they gave, you know, their intellectual property. So I heard that statement from that minister. And then it was the next day, I'm listening to a sermon. I heard it again, but it wasn't said that way, but it was meaning the same thing. I said, oh my goodness.
When I tell you that was such a powerful revelation to me. And then you said that when you're in your purpose, you're supposed to be used.
That's right.
Goodness, I said, boy, you know, I said, and it's interesting because I hear a lot throughout the day, but I'm amazed how that's stuck and it's still sticking. I said, I'm gonna have to make sure I communicate that, because a lot of times people will hold back, like you said, because they don't want to feel used, taken advantage of. But if that's something that God is using you for, you're supposed to be used.
You're supposed to be.
Supposed to be. And who won't say, you know, I ain't gonna say we lie, but a lot of times we don't state the truth as accurately when we say, Lord, if you could use anything, use me. A lot of times we don't want to be used. I used to love singing that song in the choir. We used to sing that back in the day. If you could use anything, use it. Take my hands, my feet, and
use me, Lord.
We don't want to do that as much as it takes for God to really use us. And God would do it too, because you shouldn't have told God to use you.
And he wants to use us. We are his hands, his feet, his mouthpiece. We are that here in the earth.
Yeah.
We are that. And so, you know, we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry, because if you're being used and you're used for God's purpose.
And, you know, doing citations, that's something that I started doing a lot. And it was so funny because even when I would preach, I would cite all my sources during the sermon. And finally, it was as though, I'm not sure who actually told me, I'm not sure if it was my wife, or maybe I dreamed, or maybe God actually spoke to me. The citation is for your written documentation. You don't have to spend your whole sermon telling people you're citing and everything, but I want to make sure people know that this is not my original thought, but God knows who needs to hear what and who it comes from. So I didn't have to, you know, I started thinking about how many minutes of my sermon spent talking about citing and everything. And once I stopped citing everything, my sermons got shorter, and I'm sure the people got happier.
But you know, if we really look at it, Is anything an original thought?
I don't believe anything is an original thought. And, you know, and that's why I grew to learn, I grew to understand. And even with the whole be better on purpose, that I don't know. So I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who have used that, but I was the first one to patent it, so it's mine. So, and that's the thing about the trademark and the patent. It don't matter who used it first. I don't care if they're making millions of dollars off of it. If you go and get it patent and trademark, it becomes yours, and they have to cease and cease and desist with it and stop you. They have to pay you for it. And I said, I need to just go and look at all the stuff that I think and just go and see if it has a patent and a trademark on it, and just start going doing it and see if I do that.
Because really, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, and I think they call it intellectual property.
It's intellectual property. If I'm thinking it up, I wrote it down. You know, it's intellectual property. Now, I wrote many musicals I've written many musicals over the years.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I got to copyright them. Yeah. I wrote many songs. And you know, as a teacher, you're not thinking you just writing the songs for the kids. But God told me, copyright it all.
Yeah. And that's so amazing that God says, because God will give us everything we need. A lot of times we don't realize we need it. A lot of times we want something different. But God gives us all that we need.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
And I think about this now, especially as we get ready to get into the holiday season and stuff. You know, I like to watch people. I would go to the mall sometime, and I would sit in a little section where they call the old men section, I guess, called the wives or girlfriends or kids be out with all the bags shopping, and we would just sit and hold the bags. And I would watch people's expression. And I said, you know, why would people go to the malls, go to the shopping center, and don't want to do it and feel bad about it and do it? You know, I just don't believe in doing something that I don't feel that's going to bring joy to anybody. You know, you have to bring joy to whatever occasion you come. And that's what this whole thing about life, we have to be joyful as we enter into our purpose, and we have to give thanks and praise to the one who allows us to do it. And, you know, once I started realizing that, I said, you know, okay, I can go through, even when I have bad moments, I learned to not let bad moments turn into hours and days and months. You know, once I realized that moment, I said, the moment only happened a few seconds. Right. I replayed it minutes and hours. So that was my fault after that. You know, I'm holding on to it, and God said, let it go. So we have to learn to let stuff go.
And I think that's what you and I are similar, because I don't hold on to stuff.
Yeah, I don't hold on to it.
You know, even when I'm feeling down for a moment, it might be for a moment because I'm human, but then I quickly remember, wait a minute, this don't make sense for me to even give any more, entertain this thought anymore. And I move on. And I do that with people too. You know, if I feel that I've been hurt, betrayed, or whatever, it may bother me for a moment, but then I just move on to the next thing. It doesn't benefit you or anyone else to hold on to negativity.
And you think about what it costs us. We don't want to eat because we're mad. Our heads start hurting. Our body get irritable, and it just really messes us up physically, mentally, and spiritually. That's really what cancer is all about.
Yes, it is.
That's what cancer is really all about. If you think about what it does to your body, because we let stuff affect us, and when it starts affecting you, it starts playing itself out in our physical body.
In our physical bodies. Yes, yes. Now I want to talk about this Be Better on Purpose, because you've written a book, and your platform is called Be Better on Purpose. Can you talk to the audience a little bit about the importance of even finding purpose?
Yeah, you know, purpose is what brought us here. A lot of people used to ask questions back in the day, why am I here? You know, we want to know why. I used to ask questions, why was I born to this family in this neighborhood? Why I wasn't born to the Rockefellers and the Kennedys and all those who had a lot of money? I say, as a little kid, I used to wonder, why did I have to be born in the environment I was born in? Why I was born the color I was born? Why was I born short? You know, why I couldn't be 6'4" and 235? And, you know, I used to have all this stuff that I asked questions about. And, you know, I grew up in a family, I said, that was Christian. So my grandma used always, baby, don't question God. Don't question God. And I appreciated her saying that at an early age, but I'm grateful that I got old enough to realize that God can answer and handle all of our questions. And when I got there, so I started asking, well, God, I can't say, I can't do what you don't want me to do. So why am I here? And it was like, I felt God would share with me through his word, through preach messages, through other men and women of the gospel, that we all have a purpose. And once I started realizing it, growing up again, whatever we did, whatever I would do, I was always encouraged to do it better. I would say, I guess as a little boy, I was in a hurry to go out and play. So my mom would say, clean your room. I'll rush through it and I'll run outside. She'll call me back in. You're not finished with your room. There's trash up under your bed. Your sheets hanging too much on one side. Whatever it was, she would always make me do it better. And even with my grandmother, when it comes to making the bed, no matter how good I thought I made the bed, she would always come behind me and make it better and say, that's what that bed's supposed to look like. And I got to the point, I'm like, well, if you can always come behind me and make it better, ain't no sense in me doing it, so I just kept on messing it up on purpose. So I was messing on purpose instead of being better on purpose. But what I realized was she would get angry, have to come behind me to always do what I supposed to have been doing the right way. So I started finding out that, if you want people to not come behind you, if you want to quit getting mad because people are saying you're not doing a good job, do it better. So that better thing requires purpose, because you can't do nothing better on accident or mistake. So I started saying, okay, let me do it the way they want it done. And once I started realizing how you want this done, and life got so much better when you find out how people want things done. And if you can do it the way they want it done, regardless of what you think or feel, it's going to be better. It's better. One of the problems I used to have in school, when I used to do schoolwork, I used to do the work and everything, and the teacher explained to me what I did wrong. I said, that don't make sense. And I would get mad because it didn't make sense. And then I realized this is how they want it done. Do it that way, regardless if it makes sense or not, because a lot of stuff ain't gonna make sense to us. So I started realizing, okay, how do people want stuff? And I have to do it on purpose, because my natural instinct is to want to do it the way I want it done. You ask somebody what you want to eat. I want hamburgers. They want hot dogs. Who gonna be happier? Am I gonna be happy if we had hot dogs because that's what they want, or am I gonna be happier because I want hamburgers and they're mad now? So I could eat a hamburger later. I eat hot dogs now. So it's the whole being better on purpose. Find out why and what is needed, and then purposefully doing it, because naturally we are gonna make mistakes. If you look at kids, natural instinct is to get in trouble. Even babies. You put a baby on the floor, what they gonna do? They're gonna crawl to the steps and almost fall off. They go crawl to the electric socket and stick something in it. They go put stuff in their nose and ears. So you have to teach people better. And when you teach people better, you learn better, and then you do better on purpose.
Now, as you were talking about being better on purpose, I was thinking, purpose. How many people don't really know how to discover purpose? And the only way that you can discover your purpose is to have a relationship with the person who created the purpose in the first place for you.
And that's the source.
That's the source. And, in Jeremiah, it says, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you.
Yeah.
I knew you. And so that means your purpose was developed even before you took breath in this earthly realm.
Yeah.
And so the person that God knew you to be, is our responsibility to walk out here on earth. Now, if we do not find the purpose, then God doesn't recognize what he didn't purpose you to be. You doing something else. You doing something that's foreign to where he told you to be, or he designed you to be, or he created you to be. You're doing something on your own. And in purpose, that is the place where all things work together.
And let me
we hear that script all the time. Mm-hmm. All things work together for those who love God and are called to his purpose. But we fail to realize, some of us are not in our purpose. And if you're not in your purpose, all things can't work together for your good.
You think about the divineness of God, whereas God knew my purpose before my dad was born.
That's right.
You know, before my dad was born, before my dad even knew he would meet my mom, God knew my purpose before I even got here. God knew that my dad had to live long enough to help procreate me. Mm-hmm. And then I had to realize that, well, not I had to realize, but God had a plan that he wouldn't be a part of my life so I could be in my purpose. You know, God knew all this. And again, asking, why I don't have a dad? Why my dad ain't coming over? Why my dad ain't doing this? Because of the purpose. But if you think about that text from Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for the good of those who are called, all of us are called, but most of us will look at it and don't answer. Mm-hmm. It's like when people call you now, you look at, so somebody call you, look at your phone, well, I'll get that later. Or I'll send them to voicemail. Even block it because you don't want to know what that person has to tell you. So we think about that and we want to know why we're not living the life that we have been designed by God to live, because we're not in communication with God. Even we're not in relationship with God. And the beauty about relationship is God gave us 2 ears so we could listen more than we talk. When somebody got something to say to me, I need to be quiet so I can listen and comprehend and let it get into me and then go out and live out what it's supposed to be. But if I'm constantly trying to shoot you down and then not hear what you have to say, I still miss the purpose. Everything that we do, everything we own has a purpose. I'm guilty a lot of time of when I buy something, I think just because I can look at the picture on the box, I should be able to put it together. And I found myself with extra parts, things falling apart because I didn't put it together properly. Because the manufacturer sent me the instructions on how to put it together. It sent me the instructions, and in the instructions was a list of everything needed to put it together and to tell me what it's good for. You know, unfortunately, most of us only use a third of whatever it is that we have to its fullest purpose. You get a microwave, and the only thing most of us use a microwave for is to warm up food. That microwave could cook food, it could defrost food, it could reheat food. Most of us, when we look at the microwave, we'll go in and set it for a minute and warm up the food when really we didn't warm it up, we just really recooked it. When all thing we had to do is hit that sensory heat button, and that was reheating it. So we are misusing that microwave. We just automatically hit the 30-second button. You know, microwaves now come with popcorn button, milk butter button, and all this other stuff. But we'll just go and put it on a couple of minutes, and we are misusing it. And then when it tears up, we want to know what happened to the microwave. This thing is cheap. No, we didn't use it properly.
Well, that's the abuse.
Yeah, it was abuse.
See, that's when you take something out of its purpose, you're abusing it.
You're abusing it. And that was another thing that you shared with me that I thought was so powerful. So when you think about our purpose, God created us to worship and praise him. There are some people with Thanksgiving coming up 2 days away, still hadn't said thank you. You know, and I said, you know, some people have to wait till Thursday to be thankful. I'm glad that I know that I don't have to wait till Thursday to be thankful. My purpose was communicated to me at an early age that God desires and inhabits our praise. Yes. And me knowing that we're supposed to please God, I'm gonna give it to God on cue. And that's the thing I love about music too, because when you're in music, you start learning things, you start learning dynamics, you start learning how to bring stuff together. You start learning things like harmony and melody and all those different things. And if you think about that, all of this is a part of our purpose in God. God, yes, he'll allow you to go to school and major in art, but God might want you to be a ministry leader of the arts, not a professional painter or professional whatever might be the case, you know. So we have to understand, and sometimes God will let us go outside of our purpose just to let us know, I gave you what you want. Now you're gonna come and do what I want you to do. And that's something that's interesting because I think I shared earlier, maybe not on this one, I wanted to be rich. I wanted to make a lot of money. That was the reason I chose business, because I felt like I was smart enough to make a lot of money in business. And God said, okay, I'll let you get a little taste of that. didn't give me a lot. So it didn't make me rich, but he gave me, if I stayed on that track, I probably could have became rich who I wanted. But he said, now that you know what looking rich, getting rich could probably look like through other people, now you're going to do what I want you to do. And when I felt like I was 30, when I felt God called me into the preach ministry, because we're all called to ministry. We're all ministers of the gospel.
We all are. We all are. Say that again. We all are.
All are ministers. I don't care if you're ordained, licensed, certified, or whatever women and men try to put on our titles, but we all are responsible for ministering the gospel. And when we start realizing that's our, it's like a job description. What's your primary purpose? And then, if you think about our primary purpose, that's the reason a lot of people get fired on the jobs, and that's the reason a lot of people get bad grades on their report cards, because they're doing the secondary and the other assigned duties instead of realizing what's the primary purpose. If you look at a course syllabus will tell you 50% of your grade is the final exam. So why are you spending so much effort on homework?
When you get, there you go.
When you got 50% of your grades coming from the final exam. So you would think I would spend most of my time preparing for the final
exam. That's right.
So our final exam as humans is death. Once we get death, our final exam will let us know if we pass based off of if we live for God and we pass life by receiving our eternal reward. So if that's our final exam, why am I spending time trying to get rich? Why am I spending so much time trying to do this when I should be spending more time finding out God's purpose for my life and staying in a great relationship with God?
Yes. So, the why. Purpose is the why.
The why.
Why am I doing this? Why am I here? And once you get a clear understanding of the why, you can float through this life now.
And purpose.
And you can be, that's where the joy is. I discovered this some years ago. Joy comes from your purpose. Your purpose is the core to the whole thing called life. Purpose is that's the core. If, the saddest thing is to find a person who's been on this earth for years and they still don't know the why.
Yeah.
They are some of the most unhappy people on the face of this earth. And when I see that, I say, you know what? They don't know why. They don't know their purpose.
And a lot of people are afraid to find it, because once you find it, you can say you're responsible then. As long as you don't know, you might have an excuse. But once you know, you don't have an excuse anymore. And God, I truly believe that God put our purpose in our heart so we can search our heart, because that's what God does. God searches our heart. And in our heart is our purpose. And some people find it early in life, and some people find it later. And one thing about our purpose is ever developing. Your purpose in life might be this right now, but that don't mean it's going to be your purpose 10 years from now. It's evolving into something greater, because we're evolving. We're getting older, we're getting closer to God, and we're getting closer to the end of our earthly life. So our purpose is constantly evolving. It was interesting because I love biblical characters. Mm-hmm. There was this one biblical character I used to make jokes and fun of all the time, because I feel like, man, this joker here didn't do nothing in life. And what I mean by that, he did something, but there's a character by the name of Methuselah. And the only thing Methuselah was known for was living a long time. That was the only thing he did. I said, and he had Enoch, so I said, man, what is it like to the only thing you're known for was you outlived everybody and live longer than anybody in the world. I said, what did he make? What did he like? We don't know nothing about him, but the fact that he lived long. Well, we know he had to attract some woman for him to have a child.
Right.
So we knew he did something, but that's not what he's really known for. So as our purpose, we have to realize what we are known for, because that's usually going to be a purpose. That was a game. One of the first games we learned as a kid was called hide and go seek.
Hide and go seek.
We would play that game and hide and go seek. The one who had to go and seek those who were hiding. We had to look up under cars, around poles. We had to go and look what we thought people were. We had to go and look what we thought people was not. And we had to do all that stuff. And then once we saw them, we had to beat them back to the base so we can make sure that we won the game. And I thought about that, and I did a message about that years ago. I said, isn't that like life? You know, we're going out seeking our purpose in our job. We're seeking our purpose in our families. We're seeking our purpose in our hobbies and all these other things. But all at the same time, Satan is watching us look for our purpose as well. And Satan is trying to hide our purpose so we can't find our purpose. So he could beat us back. So when we get back home, home is destroyed. And that's what happened to so many people in life, because we don't realize the value of our purpose. I have a good friend right now. He's one of my frat brothers, and I'll mention his name, Kenneth Moore. Kenneth Moore knew at an early age he wanted to be an FBI agent. And I'm like, how did you know that at such an early age? And I remember when he got hired and accepted the position, and we were so excited and everything. I'm still excited about his story because he knew at an early age what he wanted to be, and he received that at an early age and had an excellent career with them. And I'm just thinking, how did he know that at such an early age? It took me a while to get here. And even when I got here, I realized that I'm like, this ain't what I really want to be doing, but I realized if I want to please God, this is what I need to be doing. And that's the thing. Do you want to please yourself, or do you want to please God? And when you please God, eventually, even if you don't feel like it, you will be pleased.
But you know, I want to say this, purpose, you have one purpose, and you mentioned the evolving of the purpose. Well, that one purpose remains that, but it takes on different forms.
Yeah.
If I look back when I was a little girl, it was really the same thing I'm doing now, but on a different level, like grade levels. You know, we have a kindergarten level, we have a first grade, we move up, and we get to high school. It's developing throughout your life. And most of the time, we don't even know it, but we are. And that is the benefit too of having godly parents, because when you have godly parents, they will see it and they will cultivate it, you know, as you're growing. God will show them how to guide you. And, you know, I even look at, that's what marriage is. Yeah. The husband cultivates the woman and can be able to see how to help. And she likewise does the same. So, you know, it is a developing, you have that one purpose.
It is.
And it develops over the years. So it looks like it, you know, it might not feel good right here because you're getting tired of doing this, but it is what you're supposed to be doing for that time period to prepare you for the next level of your purpose. And it's going from glory to glory to glory, from level to level to level. You know, your purpose evolves, like you said.
Yeah, you think about us as people. I'm still the same 6.9 ounce baby boy born to David and Louise back when I was born. But I grew, I got taller, I got bigger. I had a lot of hair. I had an afro at one time. I had black hair at one time. I had, you know, I had a beard. I had one without a beard. You know, we changed, but I'm still Darryl. I become a pastor. I got degrees. I had different jobs. I'm still Darryl. That was one of my favorite songs of the song written. I'm not sure if Marvin Winans wrote it or Donnie McClurkin, but both sang it masterfully. Who would have thought I got to know you this way? And when he talked about, he said, I thought I knew you on yesterday, but I got to know you better on today. And he just goes on, and I love that song. And that's how we are. You know, as soon as we think we know God and we get to know God more, we're like, oh man, God is showing out. But
he said, I am that I am.
I am the man. And he never changed. We changed because we get to know him better.
Yes.
He didn't change. We're changing. We're developing. And you know, it's like when we have parents, you know, you get older and you find out certain things. man, I didn't know my mom was cool when she was young. I didn't know this, because you knew mean mom who made you clean the house and do your work and do all this stuff. But as you got older, mama don't have to be that mean no more because you're an adult now. So the
Right.
relationship changes, just like with us and God. God is different to me now than he was to me 10, 20, 30 years ago. Because he said, God, no, I'm not making the same stupid mistakes I made back then. I'm making different mistakes now, but God is still loving and God is still caring. And he's using those mistakes to get me further into a deeper relationship with our purpose.
So, I am just so thankful for um, even having the opportunity to even talk about purpose. I'm thankful for you that you are using that as a platform so others will be more apt to discover who they can be better, how they can be better on purpose. I'm going to continue to talk about purpose as long as I'm here, because I know that is the nucleus for you to flourish in life and for joy. And so as we bring this to a close, because I got to bring this to a close, I hate to, Darryl will have to come back. And I know he will. But I want you to give the audience how they can contact you for speaking engagement, for mentoring, for talking about your book, Be Better on Purpose. How can they contact you?
Okay. I could be reached on all social media, and by me being who I am, I'm very public because I feel like if anybody want to find you, they can find you anyway. So the best thing to do is make it easier for them, because if people want to find you, they go find you. So
yeah.
So my email address is bebetteronpurpose@gmail.com. I'm on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, at Be Better on Purpose. I'd say I'm on YouTube as well. I have a podcast called Passion for Purpose, Up Close and Personal. I have 5 books. I have 4 books right now that you can find me at. My first book is Marching Toward Your Purpose. And I just really started using action words to get people into their purpose. So I said the first one was marching. The second one was running. The third one was driving, because those are all ways to get there. And marching is not as fast as running. And running is not as fast as driving. So I think I need to put flying towards your purpose as one of my books next, because some of us are later in our purpose stage. So we have to fly to get there quicker. But my latest book is called How Do I Get From Here to There? And that book tells you the steps and show you how to start looking for your purpose, where to look for it at, and how to get people to help you find that book and find your purpose. So I'm very accessible. I respond to all my messages and everything. I love to come and speak. I'm the pastor of Champions for Christ Christian Church. We are located locally here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm very accessible, and I love being accessible to people, because a lot of people think, oh, he's a pastor, he's doctor, and he's done all this stuff here. He ain't gonna respond. And I surprise people. They'll call, not actually answer the phone. Oh, I was just prepared to leave a message. Oh, you don't have to leave it. What do you need? What do you like? So, and I do that because God is so available. I said, if God is so available, who am I to not be available? Especially if I'm trying to be available for God. So even if you just type in my name, it'll come up. You can find it. So, and if you can't do that, ask somebody in Atlanta who is Darryl Jones. Go up to Morris Brown campus and talk to
you somebody. Can come to me.
Yeah.
I know how to get them.
I'm not hiding, and I ain't scared of nobody. So,
That's right. We're not scared.
I'm not running, and I'm just so grateful, and I thank God for this platform. Marcy, thank you so much for allowing me to be here to connect, because that connecting is one of those things. It's a steady movement, because we're steady connecting. Sometimes you might get stagnant, but we're steady connecting. And thank you so much. I hope and pray that everybody that's watching this video will be blessed more than you could even imagine and hope or dream, because truly you ain't seen nothing yet. The best is yet
to come. Yet to come. And I thank you for coming and sharing with us. And like I say every week, if you would like to be a part of this platform to inspire, to share your ideas and stories, and change the world through raw and unedited talk, you can reach out to me. Google Dr. Marcy's Connections. You can go in there through the website. You also can email me at drmarcyts@gmail.com. You can join the Connecting Point for Creators group on Facebook, of which Dr. Darryl is also a part of the community there. And that's where we uplift each other. It's just a platform to be inspired, to be ignited, to do what you do in your creative space, and just, uplift each other and promote each other. That's what that's about. So look us up on Facebook. We will be happy to have you join us. And this show airs each Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on Instagram TV and YouTube. And now you can see it on Wednesday nights on KBCN TV. Dr. Darryl, thank you again so much, so much. Love you much. And audience, until we have this moment again, peace and blessings. Bye-bye.